Saludos, bendecidos televidentes. Mi nombre es María Sol de Buenos Aires, Argentina. Hoy continuaremos nuestra entrevista con el honorable reverendo rabino Jonathan Klein, quien es un líder en veganismo, derechos de los animales y protección medioambiental. Todas sus acciones y creencias para preservar nuestro planeta y hacer de él un mejor lugar para la vida están naturalmente inspiradas en los valores fundamentales del judaísmo. El rabino Klein promueve un estilo de vida más simple y menos materialista. Sostiene que una dieta vegana evolucionaría naturalmente a partir de un estilo de vida simple, sin complicaciones.
I think we live in a society where we consume continuously. The biggest problem for our planet is this level of consumption, this level of material commitment. As a rabbi, I believe strongly in putting down our materialism. There's a fancy word for it, gashmiut, which literally means like being in the realm of everything raining down upon us, like Geshem. And I think that the key question for us is how much is it that we need? When is enough enough? When can we actually go to sleep and say, okay, I'm satisfied? The rabbis teach that who is rich? One who is happy with what he or she has. And I really believe that the best thing we can do to protect our planet is to recognize that we don't need to endlessly consume. And I think that that's at the core of an environmental relationship that is a healthy one. We don't need so much. Well, I think it's important for us to try to live more simple lives. I think it's important for us to live more real lives, less artificiality. When we eat, to eat more basic ingredients. That's another reason for a plant-based diet, because so much grain and so much land is utilized for the sake of animal agriculture. But for us to just go simple and stick to the basic food groups, so to speak, is a way for us to make a shift. And then also just to always be conscious of how much we're using. How long do our showers really have to be? Are we sitting in our showers trying to get warm and as a result having water disappear? Do we think about gray water systems? Do we think about rain catchment systems so that we really fully protect our planet and all the resources that come with it? It's a matter of a consciousness about how we live our lives on a daily basis. But of course, it's also more than just about our consumption. It's also about paying attention to the world around us and what happens when resources are being used unnecessarily. It's not just about our consumption. It's also about our relationship to seeing a better world. And I think for me as a rabbi, a big part of it is about being engaged in the world and trying to make this world a better place, because it's one crucible of human existence.
El rabino Klein reconoce que limitar nuestro consumo y no herir a los animales están en el espíritu del judaísmo.
And another thing about religions that are law-based, such as Judaism and Islam, it's that these rules are seen as an extension of divine vision for the world. Rules are what makes society function. And so for us to have limitations placed on us is actually in the spirit of Judaism, of any religion that says that there are certain ethical principles on the way you live in this world. So it's totally fine for us to limit our consumption, the way we hurt animals. All of that is fully within the spirit of Judaism to limit. As a religion, we have prioritized deed over creed. What matters is what you do, not as much what you believe. That's a Jewish way of looking at the world. And so out of that, we have to ask ourselves, well, what am I doing? How am I living my life? Am I living a life of mitzvot, of commandments? Am I living my life with an awareness of some sort of vision of how I should operate in this world? And so everything in Judaism, from the idea of the bar mitzvah, which is really about the point in life when you are obligated to follow the commandments, to the fact that we have all these structures in places. We pray 3 times a day. So that's what this is all about. It's about ethical code for how to live. We all know that there are rules that make the world function better. So Judaism is a religion that takes that up and really provides a strong basis for that. And animal protection has to be a part of that. And I'll say also in the book of Genesis, the whole idea of Noah is that every species should be saved from extinction despite the major flood. We're supposed to protect the future of every species on this planet. That's what Noah is trying to do. So too, in our world, we have to do that as well. Two of the main reasons why I think that Judaism is so committed to the well-being of animals is first the notion of tsar ba'alei chaim, that we eliminate the practice of hurting animals. You're not allowed to do that. And secondly, we have this idea of bal tashchit, which is wanton waste. You're not allowed to just create waste in this world. We have to to protect our resources from being destroyed along the way. And that's a Jewish tradition too. Jewish law. You're not allowed to make waste.
El rabino Klein es cofundador de Faith Action for Animals, una organización que une a personas de diferentes sistemas de creencias con el fin de apoyar formas más compasivas de tratar a los animales.
Faith Action for Animals is a relatively new organization that's built on the premise that all religious traditions have some place in their tradition for protecting animals. And so from that, religious leaders who play an important role in our society as being the conscience of a society, they can be powerful instruments of change in public policy to ensure that animals have better protections. So Faith Action for Animals is an organization that is multi-faith, committed to the idea that we will systematically move us forward through policy to make for better situation for animals. I think it's really important for people to pay less focus on what divides us as peoples and more on the ways in which our values are animated in different religious traditions in altogether beautiful ways, which is to say that I can love my Christian brother or sister for being Christian and not have to be a Christian to love them. Like, let them be Christian. I'm not a Christian. But at the same time, I can still love them. And this idea of coexistence, which is really built on respect for the other, by extension goes into how we treat animals and non-human life. And I think that if we can start recognizing that our relationships to fellow human beings is an extension of our relationship to animals, then we're going to start being good people in this world, because we know what it feels like to hurt, and we know what it feels like to feel vulnerable. And so we should do everything we can to protect others from their vulnerability. Faith Action for Animals played a key role in speaking out against the fur sales in West Hollywood and a bullhook ban in Los Angeles and in Oakland. And we've done a number of support letters along the way to support other policies, such as the anti-breeder law that we passed in California recently, that all pet stores have to sell, animals that are not from breeders. The other piece about Faith Action for Animals is to recognize that this movement for protecting animals must be bigger than some sort of purity test that says only vegans can care about animals. So as an organization, while our board is entirely vegan by definition, by what we allow as an eligibility requirement, we in no way want to push people away for speaking up in favor of animals. And so we don't do the litmus test that maybe other organizations do, because we recognize there's a lot of power in bringing people together, and they may be on a journey of consciousness around protecting animals in their own life, but they pretty much know that it's wrong to electrocute little animals. So that's what we're building on. We're building on the idea that even people that may not really commit yet to a vegan or a plant-based lifestyle can be instruments of change for the betterment of all animals. So we're trying to raise consciousness among people in our society around animals.
Nuestro más sincero agradecimiento, honorable reverendo rabino Jonathan Klein, por su liderazgo, pasión y esfuerzo en promover la protección animal, la sustentabilidad, la justicia y la paz, beneficiando a las comunidades y a los cohabitantes animales por igual. Para más información sobre Faith Action for Animals, por favor visite www.facebook.com/Faith Action for Animals. Gracias, magnánimos televidentes, por acompañarnos para la segunda parte de nuestra entrevista con el rabino Jonathan Klein aquí en Supreme Master Television. A continuación, el poético sombrero cónico, parte 1 de 2. Siga con nosotros en Supreme Master Television.